It's the start of February and I'm going back to work. Brilliant. I start getting into a bit of a routine. As long as I haven't slept too badly and I'm not in too much pain, I basically go in, do as much as I can. So it might be 10 till 3, something like that. Or if I could do more, I would do more. And if I had to miss a bit of time, so I had a really bad night, that was fine as well. So work was accommodating, shall we say. And it was good to get this routine going. It helps shift your focus from how you're feeling to interacting with other people, your friends from work. And I do distinctly remember there'd be four of us, so it'd be like a square of workbenches, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and I had that side. And I can remember standing there working like that, chatting to my mates while working, concentrating, doing it all with one hand, and it did make a big difference because, apart from obviously, the difficulty with one hand and the pain would be was still there, it would kind of interrupt occasionally, and you go, "Ow, that really hurts," and words to that effect. But it was a kind of much more normal feeling, and it helped distract you completely. You couldn't sit there and feel sorry for yourself. You had responsibilities, and I was at the time building lightning protection and UPS power supplies, so you couldn't really make a mistake because we're talking mains electricity here. So I was forced to concentrate on what I was doing, and it did help. Getting back to work did help. Also, I'd have to register as being disabled. Again, this is before the Disability Act. So if you were physically disabled, you registered with the HSS, I guess. And you were officially classified as disabled. And you got a nice little card telling you so. In some ways it's great, in other ways it's not. Obviously, you're singled out to be different. But large companies by law had to have a certain percentage of staff disabled. So it could work to your advantage. And in fact, about 4 years later it did. Which will probably be in another video. Just for a change. Now, as I mentioned in the previous video, my social life was starting to get back to normality. Well, going out occasionally for a drink, going out to a gig. And this is kind of where I started noticing human nature for what it is. I know people today like to sort of criticise people on social media and all that sort of stuff. Oh, you can't say that, and you can't do this, and you can't do that. And my argument would be, it's human nature. You're not going to change human nature. We haven't evolved that much in the last 3,000 years. And if you think a few posts complaining about stuff on social media is going to make a difference, no. So what I'm talking about is, I'd go out and with my mates, and you'd see, I don't know, let's say it's the bartender. Oh, I'll have a pint of cider, please. Oh dear, what happened to you? Motorbike accident. Motorbike accident. Were you speeding? It's like, no. Oh, well, it was your fault though, wasn't it? No. Got that quite a lot. And then other comments would be like, it's like that, it's strapped up good and tight. Oh dear, sorry to see that. What happened? You've broken it? No. It's nerve damage. Oh, that's all right then, you'll be okay. Well, no, it's going to be like this forever. Oh, all right. So it was kind of quite staggering, the indifference. And because it happened on a motorbike, it was just like, it was automatically my fault. After about 20 or 30 conversations like this over the next couple of months, I kind of like, just like, oh, yeah, it's whatever. Just change the subject, because it gets very old very quickly. But yeah, and even today, which is kind of my point about all this, way people are, and oh yes, we're so understanding. No, not at all. It's just human nature and the way we are. Also, as I mentioned in the previous video, I started going to physio. Kind of a bit pointless because obviously nothing was working yet, but I was encouraged to go and to do various exercises to encourage my muscles. Nothing really happened at all, but it gets you started early, gets it in your system that you should be doing it, and it's something I've kept doing ever since. I've developed my own sort of routine that I do, and basically it's not necessarily about the muscles, it's trying to keep the joints free and still flexible, because if you don't, you're going to end up with a claw hand and your arm will be locked in place and you'll be well buggered. So do your physio is what I'm going to say now. But yeah, started doing physiotherapy. Also started exploring more in the way of pain relief. So they tried me on a TENS machine and tried that for about a month. Tried it in various locations because I would report back after a week. It's not working. Oh, you haven't put the pads in the right place, and so they move the pads about and put them in up there. Nothing. Didn't work at all. I think realistically, wrong injury. It's not going to make any difference. But you have to try all these things. Around this time, some other issues with my arm popped up, as it were. My poor old left arm was obviously got quite badly damaged physically. Forget about the nerves, and all of a sudden, all down my left arm and my hand especially started to swell up, and I think the lymphatic system, probably in the shoulder, was quite damaged, and it just wouldn't drain out. So started wearing a compression glove on my left hand, and in the evenings it would be a case of I'll try it here, prop my arm up on the side. That's not worked too well. I'll do a picture of myself. So I'd be sat on the sofa, left arm up in the air, against the wall alongside the sofa, and just letting the whole system drain back down for a few hours, and a bit of massage. The problems with the lymphatic system went on for quite a few years, and I think I've got pictures of me wearing my glove a year, 2 years later. So it didn't go away overnight. It did eventually go away, and stayed away for a long time. Ironically, it's back. As I'll do it quickly now, but I have to have a pacemaker, and the first time it went in, guess where it goes in? Right here, where all the injury was. Everything was fine, and 10 years later, swapped it out, and ever since then, the lymphatic system's not been working properly, and I've had to start wearing a compression glove again. Lovely. Yes, the injury comes back 33 years later to haunt me. Now, I've struggled with this bit because part of the occupational health side of it, I was given what can best be described as a device. It was basically a metal framework that went round your back and round here, all metal exoskeleton, and it was strapped on, and you had a cord going round your back to your other shoulder and a claw on the end. And so you could go like that, and that would open and close the claw. Can I find a picture of it on Google Images? No. Just shows how useless Google Images is. There's loads of them about, and no, nothing. So I tried it for 2 weeks. I tried it around the house, tried it with driving, and I tried it at work. For me, no use at all, and I took it back after that. For other people, yeah, it might have worked. I think the problem was because I still had the arm, it all got kind of complicated, and the two got in the way of each other. I think if your arm was missing, it would have been quite useful, but for me, it didn't work at all. So by about mid-March, life wasn't going too bad. Back at work for a few weeks, and that was working out. It was hard. I'm not going to pretend it was like walk in the park. Oh no, it was blooming hard. Getting up at 7 in the morning and getting ready to go to work, and bucket load of pain. But anyway, so obviously I'm not some sort of gigolo, but yes, I started dating again, and it was not the same girl. But obviously I was feeling in a better place and feeling happier. And come the start of April, I decided I was going to have a week off. My mum and dad were going away. I was going to look after the house, and I invited her to come and stay. And I thought, really back to normal. But then, unfortunately, major disaster. Literally Sunday morning, friend comes round and says, James is in hospital. Now, James was my best mate, and I'm not going to go into huge details about this because it was pretty awful, but he basically was on his motorbike, accident, died at the side of the road. They got him going again, got him up to the John Radcliffe. I went up to the John Radcliffe and saw him on whatever it would have been then, intensive care, or don't know. Anyway, ventilator, everything, and he died a few hours later, and really my whole world sort of fell apart. So I had a week's holiday of drinking. That's kind of what I did. Yes, didn't handle it very well. Your best friend is killed a few months after your own accident. Not good. So yeah, quite a lot of booze, and the funeral was quite emotional. So was I. Needless to say, the budding relationship that fell apart as well. So back to being single again. It was very difficult. James dying was a catastrophe for me, emotionally and mentally. It's the last thing I expected. And life goes on. It's difficult to deal with at the time, but you force yourself on. And I had been back at work part-time for 6 weeks by this point, and I thought, I'm just about ready to go back full-time, I reckon. They were understanding because they were going to say, if I had a hospital appointment, that's fine. And so they agreed I should start up again full time at the start of next month, May. And I can't say I'm looking forward to it now after what had just happened. But again, you always, it's one foot in front of the other. Looking forward, try not to look back. Not being callous about what happened, but you've got to look after yourself and you've got to try, because otherwise you're just going to sit at home feeling sorry for yourself. And what sort of life is that? Unknown to me, because really I hadn't paid much attention to world news, shall we say, for the last 6 months, because I couldn't care less. UK was in a bit of a recession. So even though I was going back to work full time, more bad news ahead. There's a surprise. Anyway, see you on the next one.